With more on the stalled peace talks, here's Brendon O'Connor, Associate Professor from Sydney University's US Studies Centre. Brendon, thanks very much for coming in. Has the US mishandled this by not ensuring that the Afghan government is comfortable with the conditions surrounding these peace talks beginning?
I don't think so. I think missteps are going to occur all the time here. Karzai is a very difficult customer to deal with. I mean, he announced off on his own in Finland a couple of months ago that he was getting money from the CIA in bags. So he's a difficult customer. There's going to be lots of bumps in this road of peace negotiations. The negotiations are going to be unsuccessful at many points in the future. So it's a very messy and complex process. And I think the President has said this today in the United States. Whether this will turn out well is very hard to know. It could turn out badly. That's the most likely outcome, I'd say.
This is the second time they've tried to have peace talks.
Yes, I mean, they've got to negotiate some kind of peaceful settlement. NATO-led American troops have pulled out this week. Afghan soldiers are going to die in larger numbers. The Taliban have to be involved. I think that's just a reality. So it's just not an easy thing to do to get all these parties to the table.
Do you think Hamid Karzai does have a point that the Taliban should recognise the Afghan government as legitimate before anything happens further?
Well, he'd hope that, wouldn't he? But I don't know if that's something you can achieve. The Taliban are going to be a reality in Afghanistan. They've got to be encouraged to disavow violence, which, that's the most important step forward. It's hard when the Americans are saying you disavow violence, but if you are violent, we'll strike you with drones and planes even after we leave. So this is just a mess in many regards, a tragedy, I'd say.
And how sincere do you think the Taliban is in saying that it does want to find a political solution?
Well, I think it has to say that. It's suffered a lot of deaths in the last few years, so I think the Taliban has to be seen to be wanting to negotiate. It doesn't want just ongoing violence. Many of its leaders have been killed, so it's a sensible approach for it to take, and I think it will be part of the future of Afghanistan.
While we've got you here, Brendon, what's your reaction to the news this week of the extent to which US authorities are spying on its own citizens?
I think it's fascinating. I think this debate, the way it's opened up, was very unpredictable. I mean, it wasn't even an issue in the last election, a little over 6 months ago, and now it's a major issue. So I think it's something Americans are considering, but the government of the United States will keep saying this stops us having terrorist attacks, and I think a slim majority will support them on that.
Brendon O'Connor, thank you.
My pleasure.